Well, we've had Brett Bultemeyer on last month. You've written two articles for Specialty Crop Grower magazine regarding the Endangered Species Act and how that's impacting pesticide labels going into the future. There's the Liberty label has a herbicide strategy in there. So we wanted to have you back on to talk a little bit more about some of the resources that are available to growers and applicators who, are going to have to start, conforming with these rules. And I'll just turn it over to you and let you just jump right in and start talking about those.
Yeah, it's the I think originally it was one big long article, and we figured that's not a great way to go because there's just so much to try to comply with. Taking it in bite-sized chunks is really the way to go. And I think that some of the resources we have available is intended to do that as well. Rather than giving you everything you could ever need to know about all of these changes, when you do it in smaller chunks, it starts to make sense and stick together. I mean, there is a lot of change. You're talking about the herbicide strategy, which we really focused on before, that has some limitations on, where you can use products. There's a discussion about how many points do I have to have. it is a change in how we think about using our products rather than buy a product, read the label, use my product. Now there's these extra pieces. It's still ultimately the information's on the label. It's just directing you to websites, and those websites now count as part of the label. So I think for many of your readers, what will be most useful is the YouTube videos that we are continuing to develop that walk through some of this. It's one thing to kind of read the overarching strategy and see a few pictures of a label, but what we've really done with the YouTube playlist that we've made is walking through each parts of this. So it starts with you're on the Liberty label, which we are using because it's our first example out of the gate. This is the first one that has the language you are very likely to see on many more of your products in the future. So we kind of stop. Okay, here's a part of the label that's different. Here's where it is on your label. And then we go to the website, and that's a different video. Here's what's on the website and how you would navigate that. Then that takes you ultimately to what I think many of your growers are going to want to use, and that is the spreadsheet that EPA put together. And now you're starting to put in for your specific farm. So you can go in and say, okay, I'm in Polk County. I am doing tomatoes, and I have to get 3 points. Now it's going to start giving you scenarios. Well, do you use micro irrigation that it's a return tailwater system? No, no, you don't do that. But you are using plastic mulch that's permamulch. Okay, that is going to mean some things. Well, that may be different than somebody that's in Lakelands County that is growing in a very different scenario. So we don't give you every scenario in those videos, but start to orient you where you should look and how you can answer questions about your specific field and how you might grow. Again, everything is using the Liberty label to start because it's the first one we have. And I would encourage all of you, whether you use that product or not, to start thinking through this process because it's very likely going to show up on labels in the future. Now, here's the good news. All of this is available now. We're walking you through all of this, and what you're going to find is all of the things that you're already doing check almost every single box that the EPA has. So this is not a massive change to farming practices. It's not a massive change to what tools you're going to be using. It is simply documenting what you've already been doing and being able to show EPA, yeah, this is the way we've always farmed, and now we've captured it, and you have these tools at your disposal to use in your growing system. So I know it's a lot of change and that can be scary, but I think at the end of the day, it's not a huge change of practice. It's going to a website, documenting a few things, and away you go.
So when you're establishing that initial legwork to figure out the points, so you've got to say you've got a field in Polk County in tomatoes. once you do that initial work to figure out how many points you've kind of got that done. Uh, but what if you change crops? If you're rotating into another crop, could that potentially change the points a little bit?
You shouldn't see big changes to the crop making a difference other than some of your practices. So what a lot of our growers are going to find is right off the bat, you've already got enough points just by the things you already do. So I'm in Polk County and I'm part of the BMP. You may not need to do anything additional, full stop. Some of these labels is we maybe get 9 points that are required. Well, now you've gone through and okay, I'm in the BMP and I'm recording my activity. There's 3 points. I'm in Polk County. That gives me 3 points. I can't remember if it's three or two, but you get some relief. Well, now I'm at six and I do have sandy soils, but my field isn't level. I still got to go find another point somewhere. That's where changing from crop to crop may change what you're able to do with no till, the different times of till you might do. So I think for Liberty, at least, most of our growers, all you've got to do is answer, I'm in this county and I'm in the BMP and you're fine. Now, where this gets a little more complicated, so that's all the herbicide strategy and all of that. There's also the bulletins that exist out there. And that is a system where it's a little more involved. Okay, does my label tell me I have to check bulletins? Yes. Now you go check, am I in the bulletin or out of the bulletin? And for that, the product you're using, where you're growing, how it's spraying could have a much bigger impact on what you ultimately do. It's a little more straightforward in my mind that it's not going through a spreadsheet. It's, does the label tell me I have to check yes or no? And then am I in that pink hula, yes or no? And then if you're in it, follow what it tells you to do. I think it's a little more straightforward.
Right. And you mentioned the playlist from YouTube. Those videos are pretty condensed type little videos,
Mhm.
so you're not sitting down to a half hour each video, correct?
They're meant to be, I don't think any of them are more than 4 minutes. They're meant to be in that sweet spot of 2 minutes. And as this continues to build, we will be adding very short questions that you may have. The idea is, okay, I kind of know the system. Where did I find that Pula again? How did I do that process? There it is. Wait, where did I find that on the label? Oh, here it is on the label. And they're done in a way that if you wanted to watch all of them, they're in order and it'll kind of walk you from the beginning of the process to the end. But yeah, you're not committed into 30 minutes in one shot. You can truly watch a couple of minutes at a time during a break or, when something's turning over. The idea is to make this as accessible as possible.
Right. Well, with that, Brett, unless you have anything else, we'll let you go. And we really appreciate you writing the articles and doing these videos because I think it's going to be very helpful for our growers, our readers. So we appreciate it. And as this insecticide strategy gets more breadth of information available on it, we'll have you back to talk about those as well.
Yeah, we'll be putting together material for that. I'm definitely motivated because our farmers are some of the hardest working folks that we have in this state. And if they're going to work hard, it's our obligation to work hard to make sure that their hard work pays off. I don't want anybody to fail to be able to thrive with their crop because they don't understand where to find how to comply. You're already doing the work, you're already compliant. If we can make it as easy as possible to prove that, perfect.